Easy guys, Sire. Hope you've not missed me too much. I've just been crazy busy with a new job, guys. Hope you've had an absolutely wonderful Christmas with all your loved ones. Plenty of time together, plenty of drinks, plenty of food. And I'm wishing you a happy new year if I don't see you again. And all the best for 2019. Let's kick on and hope it really changes things. It's been a while since my last video, so I just wanted to have a bit of an update really. I've been sat here I'm not happy with the way things have been going, but I'm sat here a little bit smug at the moment really, because a lot of what I said at the start of the season is unfolding and becoming true. So I just want to go through a little bit of what was said at the start of the season, a bit of a look at the squad. Goalkeepers, I said it at the start of the season, Martinez should be number 2, checked past it, way past it. We had enough evidence of that last year. Leno, he was a good signing, I think. I don't think he's that much worse than Alisson and all the rest of it. I certainly don't think he's 50 million quid worse. And I'm still yet to see a £70 million goalkeeper in the Premier League this season, for my money anyway. And he's exactly what I expected. I thought he'd be good without being world class, and that's exactly what we're getting. He's getting a lot of our time for a lot of things that aren't his fault. He's having back passes fizzed at him at a rate of knots. He's having to play off both feet all the time. It feels a little bit like with Czech, they couldn't lean on him at all to play the ball back, whereas Leno, I feel like they're doing it a bit too much because he's a lot more confident on the ball. The other week against Southampton, people blamed him for the last goal, but seemed to forget Koscielny got caught under the ball for every single cross. So I don't blame him too much. He's exactly what I thought. And like I say, I'd happily have him as number 1 and Martinez as number 2, or we bring somebody else in to either have Leno as a backup or somebody better than Martinez, but I don't see the point really. I think money should get spent elsewhere. Right back, Lichy. I'm going to eat my words on this one, guys. I thought he'd do a job this year, stepping in behind Hector and giving him a bit of a break and putting him under pressure. His spot, he's an absolute shambles and he's all over the place. He's way past it, and now it's obvious why Juve wanted rid of him. It's a short-term thing. We've got to look for a replacement for him and somebody young to push Hector. That Wan-Bissaka or whatever he's called at Palace, I'm sure he wouldn't cost a fortune. He looks really lively. I'd really like to see an under-22 player come in and just push Hector for his place. And Hector himself has been back to his best this year as far as I'm concerned. It shows you when he's given that wing-back role and released from his defensive duties a little bit. He's brilliant. I'm a big fan, and I gave him an hard time last year because I thought he was dreadful. But fair play to him, he's stepped up this year, and no bad words coming from me about him. I think he's been one of our best players this season. Centre back, oh dear. Holding, gutted, he was doing well, wasn't he? I wasn't his biggest fan. I think he was a bit overrated, but he was looking good. Hopefully he comes back fit and puts people under pressure. I still wouldn't have him as a starter, but he'd be a good backup. Chambers, not seen too much of him at Fulham, but he's been playing defensive mid there from what I've seen, so maybe that might be an option for us when he comes back, who knows. Mustafi, this guy's a World Cup winner. How? He's more of a fraud than Mendy, isn't he? He's just unreal. He's got that 5-year-old's tendency to just not use his brain at the most important parts in the game, and for me that's unforgivable. As good as he might be the rest of the time, that's top class centre backs do not do that, in my opinion. And for me, he's one that I think we could easily let go and replace him, not a problem. If Mavro was fit, I'd happily have him jump in his shoes and just sell Mustafi and we'll just go along with it. Socrates, I think he's been a tidy signing, and I do think this season he's been our best centre back, and he's the only one that can hold a solid partnership with somebody else. I think he's been a good signing for the money. He was going to be a short-term thing, and it's working that way, and he's doing his bit for me. I can't hammer him too much. He had a really poor game yesterday. There's no getting away from that. Really clumsy tackle on Salah. Just calamitous yesterday. I don't want to blame anyone or single anyone out. They were all shit. Apart from Iwobi and maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles, we're trying the bollocks off, and Lacazette, you get your usual shift out of him when he comes on. He actually cares. Centre back is the one in it where we need to spend an absolute fortune. Mustafi not good enough. Koz's got to go for me. Same as Czech, he's past it, he's done. His last his last 3-4 games he's played in, he's given away 5 goals, and they've all down to him. Europa League against Atletico was his fault. 3 against Southampton, his fault. Again the other day, his fault. It's awful. I've got a lot of love for the guy because he's been a brilliant servant to us down the years, but he's just not good enough anymore, and I'm sick of this sentiment bollocks. Just time to shake hands, say thank you for your service, ta-ta, on your pop. So for me, that's the one where money's got to be really spent. Whether it's on two really good centre backs and you know the scouting lads do the magic, or on one that we've just got to pay the price and bite the bullet. I don't care. Something needs to happen. I know loads of you love Koulibaly, and I'd dance if that guy came in, but I just don't see us stumping 70-80 million for a centre back. Left back, I told you guys start of the season, Sayed's the future, Nacho's the past. Nacho's done for me. He's garbage in my opinion. I wasn't that impressed with him last year. Not impressed with him this year. And I'd rather see him at centre back than at left back, to be honest, if he's going to play at all. But he's another one for me. Summer, out the door you go, fella. Thanks for your service. And another one, time to look for somebody to either directly compete with Sayed or somebody to just back him up. And again, an under-22 player for me, I'd like to see that. I like that Laxalt guy. He really impressed me for Uruguay at the World Cup. I think he'd be a great signing for sort of 10-15 million, but he's not one that ever seems to get mentioned. And again, at Palace, the other lad on the other side, what's his name? Van Arnold, he's another one. You know, Chilwell, there's some good young wing backs out there, you know, that we could get for not a fortune. So I think that's another position. For me, I think this season we've just got to write it off completely. I don't see us winning the Europa League. I don't see us getting top four. So I think it's worth us just struggling through with Lichy and Nacho, and then we invest that money in the summer on those positions, because there's more that we need in January than back up, right back and left back. Midfield, Torreira, absolute class. You know, if we wanted to sell him tomorrow, we'd get 60 or 70 million for him. But he's carrying the midfield on his own completely, and he's still a position that I wanted to see Ainsley step in as his deputy and get a chance if and give Torreira a break, and see Ainsley as our centre defensive mid. Doesn't look like that's happening, and no one else is capable. The only other centre defensive mid we've got is El Neni, and he's absolute trash. He's hot trash, that guy. One of the worst players I think I've ever seen in an Arsenal shirt. I'm being totally honest. Absolutely shite, and he's another one for me that's got to go out the window. Whoever gave him a new contract should get sacked, because that's laughable. Xhaka for me, it was interesting. I watched the game the other night with one of my mates. I don't mind Xhaka too much, but he was like, mate, actually watch him. When he's got Torreira there, he might have put in the odd decent performance, but is he really truly good enough? I've gone to his way of thinking now. He isn't at all. He's poor positionally, he's got no energy, he can't tackle, his passes now, he used to spray balls around, he doesn't even do that anymore now. It's all backwards to the centre-backs, to the goalie, or just across the line, proper crab football stuff. He's another one I couldn't care less if he went out the door either, and I think we could do a lot better for the money. It's upsetting that you look, Van Dijk we could have had for peanuts, Kante we could have signed instead of Xhaka. God knows what had happened to Arsene there on that one. He clearly shot his bolt and lost the plot. But and the same, looking at City today, watching Mahrez again. Why we didn't make a bid to get him in, I don't know. And if you just added those three players to our squad that we've got now, I think we'd definitely be fighting for top four. And it just shows, if you do stump up that bit of dough, it would make a big difference. The Guendouzi, he's been great, hasn't he? Pass to Guendouzi on the left hand side. Pass to Guendouzi on the right hand side. He's gonna tackle, baby, jump and cross. Love him. I think he's had now time, and I told you guys at the start of the season, he's gonna make some big mistakes and give the ball away because he's young and he's inexperienced. But we have lent on him so much, and if this is what I've been doing this year, is comparing him to our other sort of floating midfield players, Xhaka, Rambo, El Neni. This kid asks for the ball, puts more energy in, shows more fight than all of them strapped together, and it's embarrassing. And you want to all go and have a long hard look at yourself, because I think it's shameful that you're getting shown up by a 19-year-old from League 2 French football. And I just can only see bigger and better things from this kid. And I would happily, to be honest, next year see Xhaka out the door and give him his spot, because I've seen enough so far. For me, he's not far off being on a par with Xhaka already. And it's just even that I'm thinking like that is embarrassing. And that's it really for the midfield. Rambo, he's going. I don't really care. He's been a good servant, but he's like watching him yesterday. His attitude stinks. And somebody said to me, well, how would your attitude be if you were being messed about the way he's being messed about? Why is he being messed about? He tried to play chicken with a club with his agents for big money, and we called his bluff. End of. That's it. That's simple. We called his bluff. End of. See you later, mate. You've chanced your arm. If he thinks he's worth 300, 200, 300 grand a week, he's absolutely on planet cuckoo for me, because not a sniff. And yesterday just proved it. And like I say, somebody said to me, well, how much effort would you put in? For me, anyone that earns over £2,500 a week should always be giving 510%. So that's a lot of bollocks for me, and he's another one. Can't wait to see the back of him now. To be honest, I want to see a new, fresh change. I want to see new faces, people that, Ramsey might have been good, his stats might be really good, but I'm bored of watching it. I'm bored of watching that same attitude from the same players. Whether he's good or not, his attitude stinks, and I've had enough. So ta-ta, mate. I'm done with you. Iwobi, I said at the start of the season, he's got to play down the middle because he's not a winger. He doesn't have any winger's instincts at all. And he's done all right in snatches this season. He's someone I keep in and around the squad, but he's not a starter. It's like Welbeck all over again. He just shouldn't be a starter. If he's a name on your team sheet, you should not be thinking you're capable of top four, and that's just my honest opinion. Mickey, I'd happily see Mickey gone as well. He's not really doing anything for me. He's really been pretty average so far. And he's taken a big chunk of wages because we had to use him to smooth over the Sanchez deal, and that was a mistake. And maybe he's someone that I would keep in and around the squad if it's too hard to get rid of him and there's no resale value, but he wouldn't be a starter for me. He's not a winger again. He's not a winger. He's a 10 or that's it, nothing. Mesut, you guys know I absolutely love Mesut. I think he's world class. I think he's probably the best number 10 there's ever been. People that humiliate themselves by comparing him to Eriksson and Sigurdsson and players like that, fucking turn it in, mate. Absolutely shambolic opinion. This guy's light years ahead of the rest. I still believe he's light years ahead of David Silva as well, but that's my personal opinion. But this isn't good, what's going on. I told you guys at the start of the season, I've worked in football, I talk to footballers, I know stuff that, it's not a cocky attitude, it's just a lot of you guys are guessing with zero actual information apart from newspaper and Twitter shit. I actually do have some inside information, and I told you at the start of the season, when you all hammered me, that Martin Keown was right in what he was saying about Mesut. I told you that, and look what's happening now. Go back now and watch that Keown interview and you'll start going, yeah, he's actually spot on there, isn't he? The guy's attitude isn't good again. Yes, I believe without him, we are 95% less creative going forward. That's just a given. But we cannot have somebody on 350 grand a week that's playing one game every 5 weeks. That's just not good enough for me. And as much as I love him, he's got to go. He's got to go for me. And I think we could use that money on giving two young guys a chance and saving it, or doing something different, definitely. But it's a tricky one. Well, who else have we got here? Running out. Welbeck, he's got to go for me. I'm not glad that he got injured because that's not nice to say. I would never wish that on anybody. But I do think it's a bonus, and I think it makes it easy for us now to push him out the door, which I am delighted about, I'm not going to lie. I just don't mean that in a harsh way. I think he's a lovely guy and he's a fellow Manc, which I will respect him for, but he's a terrible footballer. And he's another one like El Neni. He's one of the worst players I'll remember over the last 10 years wearing an Arsenal shirt. Two lads up front, Ober and Laka, blowing my mind a little bit. I think he's obviously not happy to trust Eddie yet, is he, to come in and do a bit, and that's why I don't think he's playing the two at the same time. We were getting away with it at the start of the season, and once playing out Ober out wide and Laka down the middle, once the fixtures start to pile up, it wasn't possible to keep doing it. But the way he's treating Laka, for me, it isn't okay at all. For me, this guy would be, with Torreira, the first name on my team sheet every single week. And I would have him ahead of Ober every time, and I told you guys this at the start of the season. Yes, Ober is more of a prolific goal scorer, but he doesn't bring much to the party apart from being a prolific goal scorer. He does nothing really in build-up play. He does make some great runs, I'm not going to lie about that, but then he's not being found, and I still think we should be utilising him off the left, making them runs in behind the channel like Thierry used to do. But we've just not got midfielders that can do that at the minute. Like I say, along with Ramsey yesterday, he was the invisible man yesterday. He's absolutely embarrassing. I'd have just fucking given him his P45 there and then, and wished him the best of luck. But yeah, we've got to get the best out of these two guys. And like I say, if it was for me, I'd be putting all of my eggs in Laka's basket, not in Ober's, because in another 2 years he won't be here. Laka will. So he's the one I'd be pinning and building my team around with Torreira, not Ober. But delighted to have two world-class strikers. And now any absolute egg put Firmino above these two guys in Premier League striker ratings is laughable. For me, it's Aguero, Kane, and then it's those two, and anybody else couldn't really give a toot who comes after that. That's the obvious pecking order for me, and I think anything else is wrong. Unai, looking at Unai, what he's doing, he's taking a dessert spoon into a knife fight, isn't he, basically? The squad's not good enough. People turning saying, "Oh well, Wenger, if we'd have been playing like this under him, he'd be getting hammered." Looks like to me like Emery's getting fairly hammered, to be honest, and he's working with the shit Arsene left behind. And I was at a lot of games last year, and I have never felt like the soul had been sucked out of me so badly. So many games where I just wanted to cry at half time and just leave the ground. And Anfield again, I was there last year. I was sat with Thierry last year watching it, and he was laughing in my face because I threw my toys out the pram and binned it off at half time. And it's like he said to me, and this is why I love the man, because he said, "Si, why'd you get so upset? It's like a film that you've watched 1,000 times. You already know what the ending is. So why are you surprised when it gets to there?" And those words always keep ringing round in my head. It's so true. We're just not good enough. But if you look on balance, take away some of the performances, because I think we've been a bit like England at the World Cup. We're overachieving but underperforming, and we're getting away with it. And that run was incredible that we went on, but it's over. Since the Spurs result, we fell apart completely. Call it what you want. Poor squad management, poor squad, fitness, injuries, whatever. They're just excuses, and they don't wash for me. It's just because the entire setup that Unai is working with has been garbage for 10 years. It's going to take more than 6 months to sort it out. And I'm a big fan of the guy, really. Some of the things he does are, I was really into this, making quick, knee-jerk subs when he felt like the game was getting away from us, or I felt that we needed change. But the constant thing at half-time is not great, because that says to me that you're just not picking the right side to start off with. And it's the same with the Ober-Laka thing. In our tough-fought games where there's a tight line, we need Laka, because he grafts, he wins the ball back. And he gets play started again. Ober does none of that. I'm sorry, I know all the fanboys are going to rip me a new one. I love Ober, and I think he's a massive, massive part of our squad and morale, but he wouldn't be the starter for me in those tough games. He's another Ozil for me. He's a bit of a luxury. And when it comes down to those nitty-gritty hard-fought, Burnley's away, Stokes away, whatever, he becomes a bit the invisible man, and Laka doesn't. He knuckles down, bit of mud on his face, and come on, let's have this. But yeah, it's all going to boil down to, guys, what I told DT and the rest of them last year with the shite banners, Wenger out and all that. There was no point to any of it, because until Stan goes, now it's going to change. Now, I know he's bought this 100% of the club now, and it is in his best interest now for us to get better. So these next couple of windows are going to be really interesting, and I think that's when we either really turn the screw on the guy, or we cut him a bit of a slack, and he's been sticking to a structure, and this is how it works. He can spend money. He spent $5 billion building a stadium for the Rams, but that's the sport he cares about. It's a club he cares about. He doesn't care about Arsenal, and I wish people had realised that 2 years ago when we could, 5 years ago when we could have really hounded this guy out. And I think last year when we all stopped going to the games, we should have kept it up until this guy went, I just don't need this, and he sells up. Now I think the only thing is to suck it and see. Either he's going to invest some money over the next few windows and really give Emery the chance to make us a big team again, or we're just going to be in the world of obscurity again for a few more seasons, and then all I can pray is that Dan Goat sticks to his word when he builds that refinery in Nigeria, and like he said, I will buy that club off whoever, I'll make an offer you can't refuse. And he does that to Cronker, and Cronk goes, you know what, I've had my fill, I've made some nice money, yeah, it's time to call it a day. But I'm pretty happy on the whole, guys. It is a lot better than what I was watching last year. The points difference might be only 1 point, but there is a lot more fight in this team than there was last year. I just think they've downed tools again when it's not going their way. And that's what we're lacking in certain players, is leaders and people. When the going gets tough, they dig in. And I don't think we've got many of them at the minute. I can think of 3. And that's not good. We should have 6 or 8. And you look at the other big teams who are doing well. And that's what they've got, And it's the way we've been playing as well. Our midfield is empty, against Southampton, Brighton. Look at these teams and look at theirs. Bournemouth were the same. Look at their counter-attacks compared to ours. So much better, so much organised, and they're making us look like a championship side, and I think there is players in our squad that we should be capable of better. So that's my little whinge, guys. Whether you agree or disagree, that's up to you. Please comment, on Twitter or below, and let's have a chat about all things Arsenal. You know me, guys. I don't rip people a new one for their opinions. I like hearing all the diverse thoughts of our fan base and see what everyone's thinking. But for me, if you take performances out of it, you look at the table and see where we are, and you think about where we were at the start of the season. I'm impressed with where we are, because I think we're just about a top half of the table team at the minute. You know, and the stats don't lie, do they? Look at how many goals we've conceded. It's worse than anyone else in the Premier League. That's shambolic. So to say we're at top 6 in the table, I think is really impressive, and a bit of a feather in the cap of Unai and the boys, to be honest. And I think it's just we just need to keep faith in him. I think he is the right man for the job. I think he's as good a manager for our projects as we could have got. And look at how excited we were a month and a half ago. Just go back to that. You know, it's the same. If you think we're doing shit this year, just go and watch a few games from last year, and you'll soon go, do you know what? Yeah, it's not actually that bad this year, is it? So that's it from me, guys. I'm off now to have a few sherbets and watch the United game. Like I say, hope you've had an absolutely wonderful Christmas with your loved ones, and I hope you have an absolutely smashing New Year. And hopefully, Arsenal can do it for us in the big 2019. I've got everything crossed, guys, and just keep the faith. And please don't just start turning on the manager already, because it's embarrassing. And it's funny how the people who are turning on Emery so quick are the ones that gave Wenger 10 years grace. Funny like that. Anyway, guys, waffling now. Take it easy. Si signing out. This was the first Gunner talk in God knows how long. I'm sure most of you thought you were going to see me on a milk carton before on air, but take care, guys. Peace and love.